time to start the tops. I'm going to face this with the same way I did the last two and take, I won't be able to use this, but I'm going to again pin it to this, cut it to shape, and then do exactly the same process, let the material over the top of it, get the measurements worked out, and then hopefully with this process I will get some sort of a dip with the material instead of just having it go straight over the top, which will probably look silly. Let's see how I go. You're allowed to laugh if you think this is funny how I'm doing it. Yeah. It looks funny. I need to fix this. So that's what it looks like. Oh dear. I've measured out 30.5 inches wide, which would give me enough for the side seams. I've just got my material folded in half, like that way. And I'm just going to cut this off. There will probably be then a little bit extra so I can get the two covers out of this. I'll have to maybe just trim the other side a bit shorter. But the lengthwise I think would probably be a little bit too long, but that's good because these sponges are just a little bit lower. So they'll take a little bit less material, which is good because I actually ran a little bit short with the first ones I did. And I only just had enough scrap pieces to make the back strips on one of them. I had to stitch 2 scrap pieces together. Hopefully I won't have to do any of that with these ones. I have pinned it on so I know how much I need. I have to cut along here, and then I'm going to do much smaller hems than I did on the other ones because I could have saved myself a little bit of drama. I did this wide. It could have just been a little bit, not like that, and I would have not been so tight on material. So this one I will have plenty for the sides once I do that, and just give myself the small hems like that. Just overlock. I'm just going to overlock and fold it once so it's not bulky at all. There we go. I have to double, triple, quadruple, a million times check just to make sure it's right, because if I cut it too short, I will not be happy. I need a square. I really need a square. Okay. Time to overlock the edges. Note to self. I didn't think far enough ahead because I could have made my life a little bit simpler. I need, if you remember the last sponges, that little bit that goes to the inside of the cover, the cushion cover on the back. I stitched on the separate rectangular pieces. Well, you know what I could have done when I cut these out was just cut it with more at the back of the piece instead of now having to cut complete separate pieces and put them onto here. So with the next ones, I'm just going to do that and do it right and easier. But with these ones, I've got to cut out now 2 strips to so on. Maybe I should change my thread to navy instead of black. Black won't look bad. But is that just being lazy? Probably. Don't sew over pins. I keep telling myself, don't do it. Okay. I'm going to try something a little bit different on these ones. So I've got my edges fold over on both sides, on both pieces. So here I'm actually trying to pin it on the cushion. Last time I measured how far around the edges needed to meet up, pinned it there, and then took it off and then hand pinned all the way around there and fit it. But I think this way will give me a better result. So that's what I'm going to attempt to do. Thanks to myself, I am not having fun doing this one. I ran out of bobbin thread not long into my first stitch part of it. Didn't realise till I got halfway around, did I? And then I continued to stitch the first part wrong. I feel like something was trying to stop me and say, look, you pinned that wrong. That one doesn't have to be under that piece, it has to be on top. So now I have this that I have to fix up and not fold like that. I need to fold that piece over the top. Not that you can understand what I'm talking about, but I was meant to pin it wrong, I think, because I just fixed the other side, and lo and behold, the other side that I'm about to stitch is actually pinned wrong. So I'm going to pin it right before I even start. I was meant to have all that trouble to say, look at your mistake before you make a mistake. And my neck hurts. Wouldn't it just be too bad if I was wrong all along and now I'm pinning it down wrong? That would suck, but I'm pretty sure I'm doing it right. I got number 1 done. My back is really sick of sewing. I don't know. I think my position, how I sit or something, is not good, and I'm always leaning forward and looking, and I think that's the problem. So I don't feel like finishing the second one right now, but here we go. I think it's a bit tidier than the last one because I made these, instead of this finishing square in here, it leaves it baggy. Make sure you can see that. So when I stitched down these pieces, I actually pulled it down more than what you would think. So it's actually probably like that in there instead of square. Doesn't matter though, you're not going to see that excess material that's in there. So that makes it look nice. And then I'll show you, when I put this on, after I thought I finished it, and then I got to the last side to put it on these two ends, and I heard rip, bang, bang, bang. Alright, then I undid half of the stitching that I did. So I just went over on all of the corners and restitched them, and then went back and forth quite a few times on the edges here, the corners, so that when you're putting it on and taking it off in the future, hopefully it's going to be super strong and none of the stitching will break. Lesson learnt. Finish the edges better. So I'll show you what two colours look like. It looks a bit loud. I thought that they wouldn't quite look like this when I picked the colours. Oh, that looks very, very blue on the camera. It doesn't look that bad in person, but yeah, I don't know. I hope Brad doesn't hate it. So I have the one more to finish, and then that's the half of the lounge that I brought the sponges back for to finish. So half of the lounge is in the caravan done. Oh, and by the way, this material that I got cost me about $140 to cover the 4 of these cushions and the curtains. About $140 worth of material. So remember how I said I was going to cut this little bit off because, oh, that could make my life easier and everything. I did it, obviously, but I have a feeling that it's going to bite me in the bum and not be such a good idea for some reason, and I can't really say why. So I'm going to attempt to sew this on. Let you know if there's any problems. Pretty sure I was wrong about it biting me in the backside. See? That's the little flap in there, but it just goes under like the other ones I did. Then I have to stitch it across there. All done. Got all 4 that I needed done. After this, it will be curtain time. I didn't enjoy doing the blue ones for some reason. I think I'm partly tired as well, but I showed Brad the colours of them because I'm a bit worried that maybe I shouldn't have gone for the blue. But anyway, he's not really a fan of it. It's just going to have to stay because I don't want to waste the material. So I'm hoping that it grows on both of us. Anyway, stay tuned for the curtains next. Curtain time today. The way I'm going to measure them is, here's my curtain from the van, and instead of having 2 curtains per window, I'm planning on doing 1. Also, as much as I do have this to measure by, last time I was out there I wrote down the actual measurements. I got the measuring tape and took things of the window so I knew exactly how wide they were. But I left that in my pocket and then washed my clothes. So I don't even have that to go by. Because if I don't keep it as 1 single curtain, I can cut it down the middle and then, you know, just have a tiny seam and then have 2 curtains. The thing is, there won't be any wave in the curtains, which I don't mind. I'll just be hanging flat with no waves. But I'm going to have to measure. I think they were 1 metre wide by 600. Pretty sure. So if I have that much, then I should be good. Should be plain. Okay, cool. I figured my plan is I'm going to cut them 31 inches long. That should give me plenty to do a rolled hem to have the rod go through instead of these, and a 1 inch double rolled hem. So in other words, I use 1 inch to do it, so 1/2 inch and then 1/2 inch. 31 inches should give me enough all up. Let's hope so. Also, I hope the bottom's square because I'm just going with it. That'll be 1, 2, 3. I need to cut out 3 at 31 inch, 3 lengths at 31 inches. Let's see how I go. Alright, we're looking good. So far I've got all my short windows that are the same length cut out with that, and then there's plenty to do the longer curtains, which is all good. So now I have to cut, I'll measure first actually, and if I do want to do these curtains in 2, then I'm just going to then cut in half all 3 that I just cut out. They should be fine. They should be fine. So I'm going to do it because I think I would still like them to be 2 curtains, so I can just shove them aside and not have one big one to shove aside. Okay, this is my method of approach. I'm doing the sides and bottom in one go, so I'm going to stitch all the way around. Usually I'll do it probably separately, but I know that I can do this in one go, and then I will fold the top and do it like, do obviously a little roll, bigger than that, and then about like that much to then put the rod through. And because, well, I'm not being lazy, but it's going to take a lot of pins. When I'm sewing, I will roll between with my fingers separately to keep that down instead of pinning everywhere where there's that. I just do it as I go. Oh, it got me. Look, I knew that I didn't have heaps and heaps on my bobbin thread. And I'm this close to the end. Time to change it. So annoying. Well, you know, it could have been worse. I could have stitched it to the very end and then got more annoyed. Yeah, focus. There we go. So that's not bad. I'm happy with being able to keep my stitching nice. That is where the thread just finished, ran out, and then I started again. There we go. I have to trim these off. Looking good. Okay, so I've measured the drop that I want, which is 64 centimeters down there, which means then I have that much to play with to do my top hem. It says where my pins are on both sides, where I have to make it meet, and then I'll just do the little 1/2 inch roll on the bottom like that, like this, and then I just stitch along there. There you have it, one down. The rod. So 5 more to do just like that. Now throughout the whole process I'm going to keep using this one to make sure after doing my hems around the bottom and the sides that it is the same length, because I want them to look the same hanging up. I don't want any uneven curtains. I want them to be good. Let's see how good I've got this because I'm just going by my eyes. Oh, let's go from there. Just off 1/2 inch. Quite consistent, so I don't do them 1/2 inch. I'm doing them, let's just pretend that's the number 1. I'm consistently getting them just 1/16 short of 1/2 inch, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. My phone went flat before it died as I was in the process of showing you this. I was like, yes, look at that, so good. and 6 all done. They look so cool. I can't wait to hang them up. Now I have the 2 long ones last to do. And neighbours. Which means when I measured that day, I'm pretty sure the long ones are about 1.5 lengths of that. So if I just go a little bit extra, I don't mind them being a little bit longer. I think that's what I'm going to do. And they can just be a bit longer so I'm safe. Anyway, they're up next. I'm going to make it, I've decided, twice as long as the curtain that I have to go off, and then take 5 inches off. So I have my top roll for the rod. So that's what I decided. Twice as long, take off 5 inches. Also, I'm going to leave this curtain as one big piece and not cut them into 2, just because it's going to be, that's how it's going to be. And save me all of that time doing 2 times that for stitching. So I'm only going to go around it once. Anyway, should be done soon. Ta-da! For some reason, the dogs think that I am like, I don't know, some other person that's not here. So when I say something when nothing's been happening for a while, they go, oh, there's somebody there, we have to bark at them. But anyway, done. So, I've got all of my curtains finished. Finally back at the caravan. Time to put the covers on. And the curtains here. And the curtains here. And here. And I've already done this one. And yes, don't worry about those yucky pelmet things. I still have to do them at some point. Going to matter. Because I don't want to rip my stitching anyway, I really bend it really hard. Okay. Well, the length is fine. But I've made them exactly as wide as the windows, which means they look too small. Let me show you what I mean. So here, you can see that sheer white one behind it, which goes beyond the literal window. But mine go right to the edge. So I think, because I couldn't help how wide this material was, I couldn't go any wider anyway, which kind of sucks. So as much as they do cover the windows, I didn't think they would be this short. And then I can still do this and open them, which is probably how they're going to look most of the time anyway. But if I really want to make it not so bad, I can just make another one for every window to go in the middle. And then that way, it won't look so bad when they're actually shut. Oh, I was so bummed when I saw how wide they weren't. Anyway, that one's the best. That one clearly covers the window very well. We'll see if the colour grows. Anyway, there we go. Finally finished most of the caravan.